My name is Debbie Reynolds. They call me the Data Diva. Today I want to talk about data privacy and the Google Pixel phone and location tracking. So, cyber news researchers did a study on the most recent Google Pixel phone, and they found a couple of things that they found were a bit curious. One, they found that the phones transmit user data, including location, even when GPS is turned off. Also, they found that the phone would send data to Google every 15 minutes, including the location, person's email, phone number. They also found that services that person may or may not have been using on the phone was transmitting data to those services. For example, let's say someone had Google Photos, but they weren't using that information. They found that there was data from the phone being transmitted even when the GPS or location information was turned off. This brings up transparency issues. How much data transmission is happening on phones where people may or may not have control. I think this is a bit of a tricky issue because Google has a lot of other services they have besides phones, so their services and also the phone operation are tied very closely together. But also, there's a situation where on phones in general, there are things that are needed for phones to operate, like being able to find your location, how close you are to Wi-Fi or a cell tower. That has to happen on phones in order for them to operate. So I think the question here is how much of this data transmitting or data transfer is necessary for the operation of the phone, and how much of this data sharing and data transfer is something that should be more transparent to users, and also be a situation where it gives the user more control about how this data is transferred. I think this is a unique situation. It really only comes up with maybe like Apple or Google. So a situation where you have an OS maker that has a phone and also provides services. So there are things that are intertwined and being able to provide those services to people. But then also, I think, the concern here is about data being transmitted to the phone without people really knowing why, not really having the control over what that is, and maybe understanding fully how much of this data transfer or transmission is required for the phone operation versus things that people should be able to have more user control over. So this is a developing story. I'm not sure. I don't think Google has yet responded to this particular story, but I think, in general, more transparency is really necessary. And then I think, again, there are things that happen on phones that are, at a hardware OS chip level that people may not be aware of, that may be either necessary or are enabled by default that a user cannot control. But having that transparency about what those things are, I think would be really important for companies in the future if they want more adoption of their products and they want people to really trust how they're handling their data in the future. That's it. Thank you.